Right. Hello and welcome to week 6. I should have told myself that because I was in the wrong stream waiting for Jarod and he was here all the time. So it's all my fault. But we're here, both of us, and we are ready to do some coaching. So yeah, I'm excited to hear about your week and how it has been going. So tell me all about it.
Yeah, so I kind of decided to switch things up a little bit, and I'm fully, solely focusing on the carb addiction right now.
Okay.
I kind of thought about what you said, and
Hmm.
I decided, you know what, I'm going to do that instead.
Okay. Right.
So I guess I'm just wanting just to tackle one thing at a time
Yeah.
and get a handle on that. And once I seem to, but I guess also so I've been struggling with thoughts of, well, since I'm just doing one thing now, that means I'm not really doing this correctly. So I'm having like
Okay.
self-esteem issues with it, I suppose. Thinking
Okay, so let's
that,
have a look at that. Like, let's
okay,
just stop there and do some coaching on that, and then we can continue because
okay,
that's a dangerous thought to have. Like, I'm not doing
mhm,
this correctly. Like, what's
right.
that about?
I guess it's just because I guess what I'm attributing to my successful week, because I didn't eat off plan at all. I did that
Hmm.
just fine. But I did masturbate still quite a few times. I mean, not a million, but at least once a day.
Hmm.
And so I guess I'm attributing my success with the carbs to the fact that I'm still able to do the other thing. So I guess I'm just that's what I'm that's where my head is. So it doesn't feel like I did anything right. It just seems like I allowed myself to do the other thing, and therefore that's why I had success in the other place.
Okay. So, what I hear is that success is not touching the carbs.
Right. So yeah, my mind's just fucked up. It's all about the cravings once again. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know why that's yeah, I don't know why I'm having that problem thinking in that way.
Because you've been thinking that way for years.
Yeah.
That's why.
Hmm.
It is as simple as that. And it's like, okay, the brain's going to do
It's
that.
yeah, it's just a program that's been very much running for a really long time. So that's why it's so easy for me to slip in that slippery slope. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, and it's new. You wanted to do all the things at once, and then maybe that's just like, oh my God, it feels like I couldn't do it, so I had to take a step back. But that's not the truth either, is it?
Right. I guess I wanted to switch it up because um as the previous weeks have shown, like if I messed up on one, that's where I just stopped with everything. So I felt like, if I just give myself some slack and, if I continue this other habit, then I won't completely jump off the wagon and just go nuts and binge and all the other stuff. So it's kind of just like a prophylactic decision, I suppose.
Yeah. So how could you turn this around and say like, I did this 100% correctly? Like, how is that true?
Because I still, um, do you mean how this week was still correct? How I still did
Or
this week?
this approach to doing it this way?
Because the goal is to just fill the cravings nonetheless, and that's what I'm still doing. So I still
Hmm.
did it the correct way,
Yeah. And what else?
and I don't know anything else.
Maybe it's helpful because you continue feeling the cravings. There is, like, as you just said, like if I fail with one thing, then I'm just gonna go off track and I'm gonna fail with all of it. So maybe this will help you to actually have more cravings because you're not going off for a few days, so you're gonna be more consistent.
That's true. So I'll just still stay with the process instead of just
Yep.
fucking off. Hmm. More repetitions,
Yep.
and I mean, I've still had cravings this week to do the other, and managed to get through it. So I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not obsessing about that part as much. So yeah,
Yeah. So there are some reasons for why. this is the correct thing to do.
Right.
But you don't quite believe it yet.
Yeah, well, now it makes sense. Now that you've taught it to me, and now that we've kind of recentered. But yeah, my mind throughout this week was like, well, yeah, of course I'll be able to resist the carbs because I can still do the other, but that's not the point. The point is to
No,
just continue to feel cravings. So
exactly. So when you are at the point where, maybe we're going to discuss this soon, but when you are at a point where the cravings just feel like they're just thoughts, they don't affect you emotionally anymore,
right.
then we can start have a look at, okay, what else can we bring in? Where can we transfer this to? And it's going to be so much easier.
So it somewhat gets to a point where the cravings lose their the feelings attached to it. Is what you're kind of saying, where it just becomes literally just a thought, and that's just about it.
Pretty much. I mean,
Usually,
so what happens for me is I don't actually have the physiological craving a lot of the time anymore. It's more like, it's almost like, you know, when the planes come by with the banner after them, it's like, chocolate. And it just flies by and I'm reading it, but there's no emotional attachment to it anymore. It's just like things are just kind of cruising by in my brain, and I'm like, okay, what are you doing there? It's not something that will compel me to go and seek out chocolate anymore. In the beginning, it used to be like I didn't even see the thought, but I could just feel like, oh, I'm salivating. I wonder what's going on. And then I noticed I was there. But now I'm not even getting that salivation. It's just like the thoughts are still going to come sometimes, but I don't perceive them as cravings anymore. It's just more random thoughts that I have, because we have so many random thoughts on a day. Like it's just one of them. And most of the time, I don't even pay attention to it.
so it
So
just
if
basically comes in, just turns into like all the other random thoughts that you have. It just
pretty
doesn't. It
much,
just kind of lumps itself in with all the random bullshit. It's not as
yeah.
powerful anymore.
I mean, it can still trigger me to like, oh, I want chocolate. And then I get this feeling like I want to go out and check the cupboard. And I'm like, well, no, I don't. It's like a reality check. And I'm like, I don't actually want to check the cupboard because I genuinely don't want it, but I still get that compulsion to go and do it first. That can still come, but I'm able to
Hmm.
pick up on it. So once I have that skill, I have taken that skill and I've applied it to a lot of other things. And I think for me, the hardest one was actually procrastination. But it's easy to just take that and rinse and repeat. Do the same thing with all the other things as well.
Right. So yeah, I think this is probably the best way because, like you said, this keeps me from just going into a fuck off mode and just completely abandoning the process.
Yeah.
And
So
then
how
once I
easy
really get
has
a
it
handle
been
on it,
this week?
well, for the carb aspect,
Yeah.
it's well. So technically, I did eat off plan once, but I don't count it as a big deal because what happened was is I went to Burger King and I ordered like 6 patties.
Hmm.
I told them I wanted it low carb style and blah 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 blah. And then when I got home, I noticed that they left the ketchup under the cheese slices. They gave me all the bullshit vegetables on the side, so I just ate it. I was like, you know what, I spent a good bit of money on this. I can really scrape it off, so I just ate it. So I ate that, but nothing happened after. I mean, obviously, I still had cravings throughout the week, but so I did. I will admit that I did eat off plan, but it wasn't like I sought out. I went out. It's not like I had a craving and I acted on it to eat off plan. It was just an accident, stupid circumstance, and it happened. So, I mean, I don't really feel bad about that
Yeah.
because it didn't go into a binge. Like I did have the stimulation, the sweetness. I was like, oh wow, this tastes really good. It tastes better than normal, but it wasn't. It didn't propel me to go on to other things.
Yeah.
So I actually looked at it as a bit of a win because I didn't that that hit, I guess you could say, didn't
Yeah.
take me on that familiar path of like, okay, well, this would probably be nice if I had something else too, and then go on and on and on down the rabbit
Yeah.
hole. So, but
So you had a few grams of ketchup, like.
yeah, I mean, not the worst thing in the world, but
No.
typically
And I
that
mean,
could stimulate me to do other things. So I was like, this is cool. So
how were you thinking about it when you came home and you saw that there was ketchup on your patties?
I was kind of annoyed because I did make mention of it. I did tell him exactly what I
Mhm.
wanted, and but afterwards, I mean, it was kind of I kind of got excited too because it's like, oh, well, I can eat this, and you know, it's I'm not supposed to, but you know, I'm not going to throw this food out. It costs a lot of money,
Yeah.
so I mean, I guess I felt excited.
Yeah.
I was fucking hungry anyway, so I was already excited to eat. But I guess I was kind of like, now I get to eat ketchup. You know, it was kind of like a junky kind of moment.
Mhm.
So yeah, I guess there was kind of a hedonistic thrill that I felt, and that's basically it. Yeah.
Okay. But the good news is that even though you did feel a bit excited about it, like, "Haha, I get to eat ketchup now," and it's not my fault,
Right. Right. Right.
nothing happened.
Just moved on.
Not a single thing. You didn't have any thoughts about anything naughty after that.
Not that I remember. Nothing really stuck
Oh,
out. No,
okay.
it's just get on with it. As for the rest of the week, I've really been enjoying my food a lot.
Mhm.
So, um, I haven't been pure carnivore. We'll say that I am using hot sauce,
Mhm.
which I don't think is that big of a deal. I don't know. What do you think
Sure.
about that?
No, I use sauces. I'm good
Okay.
with it. I mean, it's up to any single person. I mean, if you're super sensitive to everything, of course you shouldn't be having it. But in
Yeah,
terms
but I
of
don't have any of that
the
stuff.
health benefits that you want, probably not a big deal.
Yeah, so I just didn't know if it was like because it's not really it has nothing to do with carbohydrates. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's not a sweet. It's just it's hot. So I don't know.
But that's just something that you might want to be a little bit clear on for yourself. Like, what are the foods that are included in my food plan that I can eat at any time? And what
Yeah,
foods are not? Because when we have this gray area, when we haven't defined it, what can happen is that when you're faced with a choice and you're sort of like, well, I probably shouldn't have that, but it's kind of okay. And then we start justifying it and we just eat it, even though we kind of didn't want to do it, but we hadn't decided. So that's not a good way of doing it. So if you just like think, I want to have hot sauce, that's going to be part of my diet, all good. It's
yeah,
your rules, your house, your rules. You
right.
decide.
And I guess another food that's been on the fence for me is milk. I
Hmm.
haven't had any this week, but it's something that since I've been doing the carnivore journey that I don't know which one I don't know what I want to do with it because um, I feel like there are benefits with because especially because I have a raw milk source. I feel like
Hmm.
pasteurized stuff is just shit. It's just it's an incomplete product. It's been tampered with. But I can get raw milk, and I have had raw milk in the past quite a bit and enjoy it. But I'm on the fence. I don't know if because I understand the Randall cycle stuff and all that, but you know, I've also heard of like people that some of the longest living people do have it in their diet, like people in the mountains and stuff. They have like a very and they include that, and they're like a lot of them are centenarians. So
Hmm.
I'm on the fence. I don't know. What do you think about milk?
I don't do well with milk, so I don't drink it. But
Okay.
that's just because I don't do well with dairy in general, I say, and then I eat yogurt anyway. So, and I don't like milk, to be fair. So that
Oh,
wouldn't
I
ever be a
love it.
problem for me. Yeah. I would just say, like, how do you feel and what is happening with your body composition when you do have milk versus when you don't have it? And like, how much are you having? Is kind of a
Yeah.
factor as well.
So I don't notice much of the composition thing. I guess that is something that's kind of keeping me off of it because I do feel like it most likely is fattening because it is
Mhm.
a sugar hit mixed with the fat and everything. So when I do get it, it's somewhat expensive too. It's like $12 a gallon.
Mhm.
Um, so I'll usually get 2 gallons, and that'll last me a week. And I'll drink both of those gallons. Um, I think I do remember I was putting on some weight when I was drinking it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess I could have it maybe once a month or something because I am trying to somewhat cut down and slim down. I have been doing more cardio with that. So I don't know. I guess that's maybe something I just need to figure out.
Yeah.
what I
Or you
want,
just
if
like,
it helps me
I'm
with
not
my
even gonna
goals.
figure it out. I'm just gonna cut it out until after the wedding, and then I'm gonna try it again.
You could do that, yeah. Yeah.
Like, make a decision. It doesn't matter what you decide, just make a decision.
Right.
And then don't think about that. Just like set the time frame, try it, done, and then you might want to reevaluate.
Yeah. I think we'll just do it that way then. Just reconsider it after the wedding, but for now, just keep it off. Keep it off
Yeah,
the table.
because right now, I've made at least what you told me last week is like I want to focus on getting into the best shape ever, like before the wedding.
Yeah.
So if there's any doubt, like the milk might actually prevent me from doing that, maybe that's the best thing for you to do right now.
Yeah. I think so.
And then you bring it back and you notice, oh, I didn't put any weight on. And you want to keep it. Why not?
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess I still look at it as an animal product, so I guess it's not, and it's a pretty damn pure one
It
as
is
well. So I mean, but it does have carbohydrates. But
still carnivore if
yeah,
you bother by the definition.
yeah. So I don't know. I guess we'll just leave that there for now, and I'll just maybe do it after the wedding. We'll see.
Yeah. So one of the biggest kind of problems that we have is when we are in indecision that never
Mm.
moves you anywhere. Like I'm all for just making a decision whether it's like the right one or the wrong one, because the only way that you're gonna find out is by making it. If you're like, oh, I'm not gonna drink milk, and then, oh yeah, I had some milk, and then yeah, you didn't drink milk for a few days. It's like you're never gonna find out whether you do best with it or without it.
Right.
And that goes for everything, not just milk. So are there any other uncertain foods that you haven't really
No,
decided on?
no. Everything else has been pretty straightforward. I've actually, I mean, like I said, I've really been enjoying my food. I've kind of invented a new dish, so to say. I know probably people have done it, but it's basically it's just ground beef, but I fried up in the skillet, and there's a lot of fat that comes off of it, and I just pour every bit of it into a bowl.
Hmm.
But in the bowl, I've already broken up 4 egg yolks. So the amount of the egg yolks mixed with the fat, and then you just stir it all up. It kind of turns into like a stew. It's like a
Uh-huh.
fatty,
Yeah,
meaty, eggy stew. Oh my god, it's fucking fantastic. And just like some salt and pepper and some hot sauce, and man, that is just
sounds pretty
money.
good.
Yeah, it's nice. It is nice.
You're
And
like, mm.
I'm out of ground beef right now. I'm pissed. I went to the grocery store because they have my grocery store has grass fed, grass finished, and I know that sometimes it says grass fed, and that can be bullshit. That can mean they
Mhm.
ate like one blade of grass, and the rest of their life was eating like corn and shit. But
Yeah,
they can still put grass fed. But I guess
that's
this one has
crazy.
like the official grass finished symbol, and you have is like certain standards to only be able to have that stamp. So they have that, but they have a 70-30, and then they have an 85-15. I like the fattier one. One's
Yeah,
cheaper, and two, I just think fattier is better. So I'm happy that I actually have access to that.
that's
But they were
awesome.
out the other day, so
I'm glad you're getting excited about minced beef.
yeah,
That's
I
pretty
do.
awesome.
I get really happy about it. So my most of my diet this week was I usually it's been about 2 meals a day. The first meal is usually just 6 eggs with hot sauce, and then the second meal is after the workout, and that's usually the stewy stuff,
Mm,
the eggs, ground beef stuff. So
sounds
that's been
good.
nice.
Yeah, so no problems there. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so other than that, all has been on point. How many cravings have you had?
So I noticed I didn't have as many. I only got I only gotten written down. Let's see. For this week, it was 39. So
Only.
definitely. Well, not as good as 65 last week, but yeah. And I think I just kind of slipped out and forgot to write some of them down. So I do feel like it was more. I think honestly, I just got lazy and said, "Fuck, I don't care. I don't want to write this down right now."
Yeah.
But yeah. 39 recorded. So
That's good. So when you are having the cravings this week, is there any
mhm.
difference in how you feel when you're sitting with them compared to last week?
No, it still feels pretty similar, especially with the carb stuff. Just feels very tight. I felt a lot of cravings last night because everybody came in. My nieces came over. I guess they're my cousins. They came over and everyone was having like beans mixed with cornbread, and for some reason that just sounded really good to me. I don't know. I was just like, "Fuck, I want this," and so just kind of sitting there with that and having mad cravings of just going out and getting something.
Yeah.
So I felt really depressed last night. I felt really depressed with that, and I decided to. I mean, I made some bacon. I honestly was feeling really hungry, so I just fried up some bacon.
Mm,
But because I didn't want to do something worse than bacon, I wanted to still eat on plan. I mean, it was more than I normally eat in a day, so I feel like the cravings did drive me to do something that I probably wasn't going to do.
hmm
So maybe in a sense, I wasn't as successful as I could have been, but I did continuously. I mean, I felt them and felt them and felt them and felt them and felt them. I just kept feeling worse and worse and worse, and I didn't want to do something bad. I didn't want to go off plan, so I decided to eat something else. And after that, pretty much went away. I went to sleep shortly after. So
Okay, so this is it's interesting to notice like you were hungry and you were having cravings for other foods that you are not supposed to be eating. And when
right,
you actually ate some real food, the cravings went away.
pretty much, yeah.
So,
I mean,
yeah, so I'm wondering if these cravings were actually triggered by real hunger or not.
it's tough to say because, like I said, most of my it's probably a mixture of both because, like I said, I've been eating typically 2 meals a day, and that's been pretty good for me. But
Mm,
I don't know, seeing other people eat and then just wanting to eat other things, especially because my one cousin, she was drinking milk. And I was like, fuck, I really want some milk. And then I'm going through that whole debate in my head. But I'm like, well, this is pasteurized milk. I shouldn't eat that. If I'm going to get it, I should wait. So is this just me being instant gratification-y? I don't know. And so I think it was a mixture of both. I think if nobody came in and started eating, I probably would have gone about my business, but at the same time, I did feel pretty hungry. So I don't know. It's
mm,
probably like 60-40, probably on
yeah,
the craving side being 60.
yeah. So I don't think you need to worry about what happened there. It's just like you had a situation where obviously you were always going to have more cravings because when other people are eating, when you
Yeah.
subject yourself to that, you're probably going to have more cravings, at least in the beginning.
Hmm.
And then the hunger is not going to help.
Hmm.
So, all good in my book. I don't know how you feel about it.
No, I feel fine. I mean,
Yeah.
I I don't like 2 meals a day is not a rule. So I don't. What's the big deal if I had some bacon for a snack? I don't find it to be. I didn't feel bad. I didn't feel like, oh, I fucked this up. I
Yeah.
just feel full now, and I'm gonna go to sleep. So
Okay.
it's fine.
In general, when you have had the cravings this week, how have you felt after? Does it feel like you're able to actually allow them and just feel calm after you sat with them? Or is it a mixed bag of resistance and allowance? Where are you at?
With the food cravings most of this week, it was mostly just slight little just hits of anxiety, and then it seemed like I don't even know if I felt calm. I just went on with life. Just it wasn't. I guess that does feel. I guess that would naturally make me feel calm, but I didn't really notice any major shift because, like I said, I really have been enjoying the food.
Hmm. But do they
So
go away quickly, or do you have to sit with them for a long time?
mostly been going away pretty quick.
Okay.
Mostly going away pretty quick.
That's nice.
It's the other area that's way more hanging.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems like they last night though that was the longest, most persistent ones I would say. Let me look at my journal real quick, see if I just this. Okay, what's the cravings at work? Yeah, just not a lot. Not a lot of. There was one where my uncle had a calzone and he didn't like it, so I had cravings for like 2 hours just to eat the rest of his calzone that he didn't want. I don't know why, because it's crazy. Because I've had the exact same calzone in the past, and it
Yeah.
tasted like shit. But and I'm just like, why do I want this? I mean, I know it's not good. That's why he didn't like it. But for some reason, it just kept coming back. He's like, no, it's gonna be good this time. You should really try it. That's what I kept saying in my head, but
Yeah.
I don't know. So yeah, it's. I don't feel much different than the past weeks with the cravings, honestly.
Okay. That's all right. And other than last night, you haven't really felt that depression a lot, or have you?
No, like I messaged you earlier this week.
Yeah.
It's um, yeah, it's just I wake up sometimes and it's just like hopelessness, anxiety. What's the point of me doing any of this stuff? And that's when I get triggered pretty heavily to do all the other different types of behaviors. Um, I think that was probably part of that was brought on by the fact that I conceded to just do half of this process in my mind at the time. Um, so I guess I felt very much like a failure at that time. That's probably part of why it brought it on.
Yeah.
Um, so, but I'm in the middle of learning this interesting. I finally finished. Well, I didn't finish it, but I got to the part of the book where you're actually starting to apply what he's been teaching about.
Yeah.
It's this meditation. So a lot of that is involved. A lot of the meditation is just you forcefully feeling feeling your depression, feeling your anxieties, feeling your, and then ruminating on the thoughts that you have that come with it. The things like, oh, this, what's the point of doing this? Or mine specifically is like, yeah, what's the point of doing this? Or I'm never going to change. I'm never going to be able to reach my goals and blah, blah, blah. These are things that always come. So I'm still learning about how to get all that process done. It's kind of like you build upon it and you just keep adding layers to it to make it easier. But eventually you get to a point where you start, like we talked about before, visualizing your perfect life. And it's trying to get you into a place where you can reprogram your subconscious. So I think it kind of goes hand in hand with what we're doing.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
It's
that was a
just a
really big
different
tangent.
way of doing the same thing, I think.
Yeah.
Like it's more you do it like in a meditation. It's like almost like you're preparing for it, and then you will be able to do what we're doing now when it comes. So
Yeah.
I'm actually curious about like have you answered the question like what's the point?
Well, I mean, I know what the point is. The point
Hmm.
is because, um, I mean, even if nothing matters that we do here on this planet, then the only thing that matters is what we do. It's very paradoxical,
Yeah.
but my buddy told me that quote one time. I was like, that's mind blowing. But um, the point is just why let this be a stronghold in my life for the rest of my life. I mean, I've been dealing with this for damn near better part of a decade now. Like as a kid and stuff, you're younger and you're more innocent to what life is about and stuff, and so whatever. But being into that, adulthood, 18, 19, 20, this has been something that just an addictive behavior or personality ever since I got cheated on has been, it's just been rampant, and the depression that's come along with it. So it's like, why? The point is to, you know, I'm gonna have to fucking do life one way or the other. So why not actually just try to be happier? And I think this is a big part of becoming happy.
Hmm. So that's one little part of it.
Mm, so what else is there? What
It's
else is
like,
the point?
yeah,
I mean, it's I'm not going to reach my potential unless I do this. And it's I guess it's a curiosity, like what is my true potential? And I'll never
yeah,
reach that unless I learn to master my emotions, which I really think that's what we're doing. That's the core of what we're doing is mastering our emotional self,
yeah,
becoming emotionally mature. So I think that's a big stepping block into reaching your potential. That's a big part of it too.
yeah. And you mentioned like being curious about it. You want to find out. It's like we have one life.
Hmm.
You can do whatever you want to do with it. You can just sit and eat all day if you like. There's
Yeah,
nothing wrong with that. But when you truly want something more, it's your opportunity. We have one opportunity to live a life, unless you
yeah,
believe in being reborn and stuff. And if you do, then I hope that you will remember something because that would be awesome. But
yeah. And I kind of do believe that because I
yeah,
think I think you know the whole energy is neither created nor destroyed. So
yeah,
something is powering every single organism on the planet constantly, and it's always working in a favorable way. Like it's always trying to make sure that whatever that energy is inhabiting, it's trying to make the best of it. So that energy goes somewhere. Soul, I don't know, but I think another big part of the point is I want to give my soul as many lessons learned as possible. So if I do go into another experience, I'll have a leg up. I'm
yeah,
gonna be able to. I don't know, because I kind of feel like I do have an older soul. I do feel
okay,
like my soul's gone through this a couple times because of how I can see certain things in the world and how I'm not as fooled as a lot of the bullshit that's out there. A lot of the masses just kind of go with. We
yeah,
won't mention any so we don't get canceled, but um, so I think I've been around this a couple times. So that's really important to me because I want to make it. I want to make this experience even to learn some new things because this is just an opportunity to learn a lesson. So
mm,
I want to make the best of this and actually learn from my mistakes and give my energy, my soul, whatever, that leg up so he'll have a better time next time, hopefully. So he won't have to deal with this I'm going on 34 now. Maybe he'll already understand this by the time he's like 15. So he can start optimizing that like at that age, for instance. So I don't
yeah.
know.
And that's all really useful thoughts to be having. It's like I this is my opportunity to actually get ahead. Like
Yeah.
we're not behind, we're actually ahead because we're gonna build this now, make this awesome, and then the next time, maybe I'm 15 when that happens. Imagine what that person could create. Like,
Right. It's like a more of a long game thinking.
yeah. But also imagine what you can create in this life.
Right. Right.
And I don't know how much you've been thinking about that. It's like has been a little bit more abstract when we've been talking about it. It's like I want to help people, I want to do this, I want to show up this way. But like where could you go with that? That's also exciting to think about.
Hmm. Yeah.
I think about that all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, this would be so cool.
Yeah. I need to. I have a broad picture, but I probably should try to spend some more time,
Hmm.
make it more vivid, make it more. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you do meditate every morning, why not do it at the same time?
Yeah, because eventually that's what I think the end of the process when I finish the book and I actually like get through the entire sequence. I'm pretty sure a lot of it is spent at the end of you imagining who you really want to be. So I'm sure that there'll be some prompts to really spend more time on that, which would be cool.
Yeah. With that said, how often have you actually, when you've been having your cravings, connected with your bigger why this week?
It was I guess not that many because I didn't with the carb thing, they passed very soon, so I didn't really feel like I needed to. It didn't pull the tool out
Yeah.
because it wasn't really hitting me that hard. I guess I could have done it last night, but I did talk to my future self a few times, so that was helpful. So I guess that's kind of part of the bigger why.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't bring it in very much this week.
Okay. Are you any clearer on what your bigger why is?
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like I am because of what we just talked about. The whole soul thing and the
Yeah.
whole just potential and optimization and things like that. So it's a big reason. I feel like it's pretty big.
Yeah. So how can I help you move forward? What do you need right now?
Mm, how can I move forward? I'm not sure. I kind of just gotta keep going, keep doing the same thing. Um, I'm not sure.
So in that case, I want to move back to what was it that you actually said? Did I write it down? I don't think you did. I want to dig into what you said earlier. We did dig into it a little bit, but I don't think you are 100% convinced that it's the right thing to just focus on the carb addiction. So I would like to
Okay.
hear a little bit more about that. Like, why wouldn't it be?
Okay.
What bullshit thoughts do you have that comes up?
Yeah. I think part of it's just I'm still thinking of it as a like an all or nothing. So I guess I'm thinking I'm not really recalibrating my reward system if I'm
Mhm.
still doing these drug-like experiences, which I mean, or very euphoric experiences. So
Yeah.
that's probably part of it. Um, yeah, I think a lot of it's just like the all or nothing mentality. But it's becoming a lot more clear now because I didn't allow myself to go on a binge this week, even doing the other behavior.
Yeah.
So it seems like the right way now.
Yeah. So tell me how you do actually recalibrate your reward system.
I feel like you engage in as little stimulating activities as possible, and slowly but surely those receptor sites become more sensitive, I suppose. That's
Isn't that what you've been
my
doing
best.
this week?
Yeah, but with jerking off is pretty stimulating though, so not really in that
But not
regard.
every time you have the urge.
Right, not every time, but most of the time for sure.
Okay.
But I didn't overstimulate it by doing foods as well. So I mean, it was some work was done, I would say.
Hmm. So maybe we're just going slow in terms of actually getting the dopamine down, which
Mm,
is fine. We're just learning a new neural pathway right now.
mm. Yeah,
And
it's impatience as well, I suppose.
mm, I think so.
Yeah.
And you're not the only one. Like, this is pretty much everyone I'm working with, and it's pretty much 100% myself. It's like, I want it yesterday.
Yeah.
I have no patience, I always say, but I actually have learned to have patience.
Right. I'm hoping to get more of that through this experience as well, which I feel like it'll happen.
So, what if it's true that going slow is actually going quick?
Yeah, like some tortoise versus the hare type shit.
Hmm.
Yeah, because uh, it makes sense. I guess it's kind of what we talked about before, in that, and I still say this right now, still believe this a lot, that I feel like, well, I guess I'm frustrated because I don't see the progress in continuously feeling these cravings. I believe in the process, but I'm not feeling slash seeing the progress, I guess.
Hmm.
If that
Okay.
makes sense. Like like I said before, when I go to the gym and stuff, like I'm feeling, or I see some numbers go up, even if it's not every time, but it's like, but with this, it's just, like I said, I still believe in the process, and I know that what we're doing is good, but I guess I want to see more. I want to see some results. So I guess that's probably a part of. So when I think about my other way of thinking about it, where it's like I'm not doing it, I'm not doing the other thing, I know that those will most likely give me results quicker than just doing this.
Yeah.
But I keep failing at doing it the other way, so it's like fuck.
So that's
So
the quick, slow way.
yeah, yeah, right. So yeah, that's probably another reason I'm probably just low key frustrated that I'm not seeing progress, even though I know that I am
But
making progress.
exactly. So you're like, I don't see any progress, but I
A
know
lot of
that I'm making.
gymnastics,
Yeah. So you already know that that statement isn't true.
right?
And you said like, what was it you said about last night? But like, I'm really proud of myself for doing that. That I
Hmm.
didn't go on a binge or didn't eat something off plan or didn't eat the pizza, whatever. That wouldn't have happened before, would it?
What wouldn't have happened?
But you actually had followed through and not eaten that stuff with the cravings you had last night. If that had been 3 months ago,
Oh, if it was 3 months ago, I probably wouldn't have even been doing any of this stuff. It probably would have just
mm,
been, I would just been fucking being a fat ass this whole time and just straight junkie. So yeah,
so that's progress.
yeah,
And you're like, I'm gonna have some bacon instead. You had bacon, and then the cravings were gone.
yeah.
That's progress.
Hmm.
I mean, it's just higher level thinking. It's not at your goal necessarily, but it's higher level thinking. It's just like, well, okay, I'm actually hungry. I'm just gonna have bacon.
Right,
And in terms of getting to practice or following your plan 100%, maybe that wasn't 100% what you wanted to do that day, but you still stuck with your food plan 100%. It was just
right,
that you had gotten used to eating twice a day and now you ate 3 times, but you hadn't even made a rule about how many times you were supposed to be eating. So you just said like, well, it wasn't according to plan, but it wasn't not according to plan either.
right.
You just made that up. Like, that's kind of a win but a fail. Your brain just wants to tell you that no, I mean, you weren't perfect, so that's probably not good.
Right. No, I mean, and I didn't, like I said, I don't think I felt any type of negative way. Like, I ate the bacon and I felt great, and I
Mm,
felt,
okay, so
it was
maybe
just
that's just what you
before.
told me.
Yeah, or maybe I did. I don't remember,
Yeah,
but I just remember feeling pretty horrible before I ate the bacon. But
yeah,
after that, it was fine.
but you did feel those cravings,
Yes.
and that's the win. That's the win that we want.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit if you eat bacon after that. It's like, cool. That's
Right.
also a win.
Right.
It's like with some, this might not apply to you, but with some of my clients, it's like they just like, oh, I failed, I went off plan. But the thing is that they don't go on a binge for several days necessarily, and they don't eat to the same extent as they used to do because they have more awareness. And it's just like it's a small step, and you still judge it as if it was a huge fail. But it's just like, yeah, I did the same behavior, but it was sort of moderated this time. And that is just going to keep shrinking and shrinking until it goes away. And it's just part of the process. So it's like
Yeah.
I don't feel the progress. You do feel the progress. And you told me about the progress.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's up here. Like I don't feel like a different person, but you can still see that the progress is there.
Yeah. So I think maybe another part of the reason why I didn't get as many cravings written down today was potentially because I was feeling that a lot. That I'm just spinning my wheels for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So I just need to, and like you said, it's been this just raw willpower and just not doing things has been my modus operandi for the majority of my life. So I think my subconscious and everything else is just really fighting this process, low
Yeah,
key.
of course. That's
And
gonna
that's
happen.
very easy for me to just go along with it because it's, my entire existence is trying to go against it. So it's easy to just listen to the bullshit that's going on in your head.
Yeah. So why would you want to continue to feel all the cravings this week?
Why would I want to?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think the more that I do it, I will actually start seeing some more tangible results. And as you said, like things are going to start shrinking and shrinking and shrinking, um, and just I do truly believe in the process because it's like we said quite a few times. I just think we only give into these things is because there's something in our lives that we're trying to run away from, and that's why we engage in these behaviors. So I just need to keep facing this stuff, and maybe I'll uncover more layers about myself that I didn't know.
Yeah, possibly. But also, it's like you said it earlier today. Like, I can't remember what you actually said, but the key to actually getting to your higher self is to just feel the emotions.
Mm.
And this is exactly what you're doing when you're feeling those cravings. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not just for the cravings, it's like for your entire life, for you to be able to change into your future self and reach that bigger goal that you have.
All right.
So even if you don't see any progress with cravings from day to day necessarily, you're doing this for your whole life. And once you have this skill, you're never going to forget about it. You might forget about using it temporarily, but it's just like biking. You will never forget how to
I
do
was
it.
about to say that too. It's like
Yeah,
riding a bike. Yeah,
it
exactly.
is.
It is though. Yeah, I need to think of it more like the long game because I feel very similar about my chess because I've only been playing for 2 years now, but I feel like I've improved pretty good and play a really shitty game. There was still something from that shitty game that I can learn from, and it's another step towards me eventually hitting mastery with that because I want to become a high level player, but it's not that important to talk about. But still, it's analogous to what we're talking about right now. Each time a little bit of a repetition happens, it's just another notch for the future.
But you're making a really good point. You're like, when I make a mistake, I learn from it.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that true for all of your life?
Yep. It's just the times when I do this with chess too. I make the same mistake over and over, and I'm failing to take a little extra time to try to learn from it. There's
Yeah.
periods in my life where I've made the same mistake a billion times, and I'm not
Mhm.
taking the time to to get the lesson. I'm just running into a wall continuously instead of being like, okay, maybe I could take a slight left turn and not
Yeah.
fucking run into this goddamn wall.
Yeah. It's going to hurt less in
So
the long run.
yeah, there might be some other walls, but at least we could bypass this wall.
Yeah.
Learn about those other walls later. It's just this one's hurting a lot, so
Yeah.
stop.
And I think you are doing that. Like you are learning from your mistakes because you have fallen off a few times and you're like, okay, well, maybe this is just like maybe it's better for me to go back and just do this with the food cravings and
Mm-hmm.
take it slow because right now maybe it just felt overwhelming. It doesn't mean that you can't do all of the things at once because I do think that you can do it. But maybe this is a better way for you to do it. Like it's a more relaxed way of doing it and for you to motivate yourself to stick with it because you're going to get the same result in the end anyway. So why not do it the way that feels better?
Yeah, and it helps me from falling into the trap of just saying fuck it, because it's a very easy trap for me to fall into.
Yeah. And
So
you're gonna have
it's,
to deal with that at some point.
yeah, because I'm eventually going to have to deal with the other as well.
Yeah.
So it's something I'm gonna have to learn how to bypass and just stop falling into that robot behavior of just stopping the process.
And maybe we want to do that in 3 weeks.
Hmm.
It's not like you've been doing this for years and you can wait another 3 weeks or 4 or 6
Yeah,
or whatever. It's not a problem. It's like
got
everything
19
is
left,
falling into
right?
place.
So
Yeah, pretty much. So, or 20, because it's week 6, isn't it? But anyhow, I mean, we have many weeks to do this.
hmm
So when
I
you
just
think
need.
about like, yeah, I have 20 weeks to get there, and you are not that far off.
No, I feel it. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I think I can get a good grip on this before then. Yeah, I believe so.
Because what I see is that you have been practicing. You have like 39 allowed cravings this week, which is really, really good. And people, if you're in my group or something and you're watching, 39 in a week is a lot. So don't feel pressured to get to 39 if you can't. It's like it's a lot. I don't see many people do it. Usually it's in the single or lower double digits. So 39 is a lot. But if you keep practicing like this, I don't know how far we can get. Like you can probably deal with all of that stuff very quickly.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah. But even if you can't, then what? You're just gonna get really good at feeling your emotions.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think the emotion thing is the bedrock to it all. So I mean, it's just, I think once I hit that, I can really do some pretty cool things. So just gotta just keep on with it and stop um, beating myself up if I do something, because I'm not. Just stop trying to think about it as just not doing the behavior, but yeah, once again, just keeping in the mindset of keep feeling the cravings. That's the biggest part.
Yeah. And then if something happens, it's like, how is this actually a good thing for me right now? I think it's a good thing every time you make a mistake because then you're learning from it and you're doing it while we're actually actively coaching,
Hmm.
not in 5 months when we just finished and then you have a mistake.
Right.
So let's make all the mistakes now, learn from them, and get that program into your brain how to handle that. And then you're going to be bulletproof.
It's so crazy that you just said make all the mistakes you can now. And as soon as you said that, I felt a hot feeling in my belly that said, let's go on a binge and make a mistake, right? Just another craving right there, like a hard one. That one was like a hit in the
Yeah.
gut.
You're like, oh.
And it was like all these images flashed in my head, and it was like, fuck. So that's 40.
Yeah, 40. Yeah. And I mean, I think Alex did that when I coached him. I was like, well, I know Pim just said, like, I don't care what you do after you allow the cravings, so I'm just going to eat. Like, don't use it as an excuse to go on a binge.
Yeah, it's
But
not.
if you do, then that was part of the journey. That was part of what you needed to learn.
Right.
So we're not using me as an excuse here to fail.
Uh,
That's never a good thing.
no.
So do you have anything coming up this week that you think will be particularly difficult?
Yeah. Um, Back to work.
Okay.
So yeah, work starts tomorrow, and um, so yeah, all the different things that go along with that. Um, the gas stations and all that stuff. So it's going to be familiar territory. Um,
Yeah. Have you visualized what you're going to do?
Not yet.
Okay.
I just haven't been like um, just trying to stay away mentally from going back to work. Even
Hmm.
like I said, I don't. My job is no stress really. I can't even say that I dislike the work. It's just I don't know. It's the just things built up in my mind. But
Okay, so let's talk through the gas station thing because that
mhm.
comes up a lot. I think this is
Yeah,
like the third call or something that we've been talking about it. So when that is going to come up at some point.
yeah.
So what are you gonna do? What are you gonna think about it? And how do you want to feel when you're there?
Well, I don't think it matters how I want to feel. Obviously, I would want to just feel completely control and just normal and peaceful, but it's gonna feel like I just kind of similarly felt like it's gonna feel like I'm missing out on an opportunity if I don't buy anything here.
Mm.
Um, it's gonna feel like that similar hot pressure in my stomach, and it's just gonna probably feel uncomfortable. Um, my goal is to just feel the craving. Right now in my mind, I'm thinking about all the different times that I have given into the gas station thing, and I end up just I have that feeling of that last bite of the last snack
Hmm.
that I bought and feeling extremely unsatisfied, and then just craving more. So it's just like it's that chasing the
It's fun,
dragon.
yeah, but it's funny that you said like I would like to feel in control and peaceful, but
Mm-hmm.
what I want to feel doesn't matter.
No, because I'm not. I
It does
can't
matter.
control that.
Yes, you
I
can.
guess
You can.
I know. Yeah, I mean that's the goal, but
Yeah.
these I guess what I can't control is my knee jerk feelings.
Yeah, and those comes from the thoughts like I don't want to miss out, I want to eat that, and blah blah
Yeah,
blah. So
yeah.
what could you think when you're there to actually feel in control and peaceful instead?
What could I think to feel peaceful instead? Um, I don't know. That kind of feels like willpower to me.
So let's play with it. What could you think?
Well, I could think that this feeling isn't going to last for very long, and I will most likely. I mean, I could think that if what I really want is just peace to if the desire for me to eat this stuff is to bring me some sort of contentment and satisfaction, I can think that by just going through this difficult moment, then ultimately I will feel that regardless because the craving will pass and I will feel satisfied and content if I just go through this. I'll feel the same exact thing I most likely will feel if I were to go through and eat this shit.
Hmm.
Besides the gnarly euphoria that comes with it. But I will feel more long lasting tranquility if I just abstain. But that feels like a lot to think about.
And that sounds like a lot of willpower just in that thought. Like
Yeah.
if I do this, I'm gonna get my reward.
Right. If then type shit. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if you could think something like to feel in control and peaceful. Like this is like going to the gas station is like a really good test for you to test what you are trying to learn right now. Like this is my opportunity to practice having really bad cravings, if you like.
Right. My craving dojo.
Mm,
That's very it's a lot more simple way to do it,
yeah,
and it's a
it's my
little bit less.
cravings dojo.
Yes.
Love it.
Yes.
Or like this is the midterm test or whatever. Like it's just part of what you have to go through to get to where you want to be.
Right.
Because you're always going to have to go to the gas station.
Yeah. I mean, there's all kinds of different places that temptations are there. So I mean, I have to live in society, and
Mm,
the way that we are, there's shit's everywhere. Whether it's sexually stimulating, food stimulating, everything's everywhere. So it's just something I have to do anyway. I'm going to have to face it eventually. I can't just stay in a
Yeah.
cave all day. So
Because how are you thinking about it now? It's just like you're just focusing so much on the things that you want or shouldn't have or do not want, or trying to rephrase it in your mind to like, this is why I shouldn't have it, like trying to motivate yourself to stay away from it.
right,
But by just shifting your focus to like how this is actually good for you and helping you making progress, it's just like, this is my time. This is like, if I do this, I really got to practice with something that is real.
right, like a game situation.
Mm.
I just have to kind of look at it like I'm going to the gym. It's like, okay, I'm just gonna go in here. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna get my reps in. Just gotta get my reps in. That's it.
You're going to the gym where all the big guys are training. You're like, I'm gonna train fucking hard as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. As long as I put in the effort, then I'll get the results. So, and I may not see
For sure.
the results today, but I know that I put in the effort to get me the results I eventually want to see.
Yeah. So you can take this in when you're visualizing it. Like visualize yourself pulling up to the gas station and thinking either like this is my cravings dojo or whatever thought you want to have that just makes you feel like in control. Because that thought would make you feel in control. Like
Mm-hmm.
this is my opportunity to practice. And like allow yourself in that visualization to feel what that feels like in your body. Like the peacefulness that comes with that and the self-assurance. So that
Right.
you are practicing going to the gas station in your head before you actually do it, because your brain won't really know the difference. Your brain's like, okay, we've done it before,
No, my
and it's
brain will
going to be
think that
so
I'm
much easier.
genuinely at the gas station if I,
Yeah.
do it good enough.
So you have time to do it. You can do that 3 times before you go to work.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Just get that in.
Yep.
So homework this week, continue having the cravings as you have,
Mm-hmm.
and keep trying to reconnect or connect with your future self, like and your big goal. Like, what is it that I really want when you have the cravings? Try to remember that. I know that they pass very quickly, so try to find a way of actually doing it, because if you don't do it when you have small cravings, you're probably going to forget doing it when you have the big ones, unfortunately.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And then do that visualization, because this is your nemesis, the gas station. So we really want to
Yeah.
practice that and just like go in there, be confident that I can do this. And when you get there, you're like, I practiced this 3 times before, and now I'm going to practice it in real life. Before I was just playing a computer game about how to do that. That was my the simulator. Now we're in a real life situation, and I practiced. I know how to do this.
Right.
You gonna
That
be
makes
good.
sense. I think that'll be good.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, that was all for today. Thank you so much, people. Unfortunately, I haven't had time to read everything in the chat, but that's all good. Thank you for being here, and I will see you again next week. Bye.